If you're willing to live with truth and courage, you're one of us. Welcome to the Empowered Living Club. Let's lock in. I feel like I have been doing these exercises. I've been using these tools for a while. And the last one that I've done was celebrate small wins that kept me safe. I've done that exercise. I've done that. Used the tool. And I talked about this yesterday. And the question that I asked at the end is, are you the safest person in the room? Do you feel like you're the safest person in your family, in your friends group, at work? Are you the safest person? Do you feel like you are the safest person? And it's a hard question, very hard question. And the reason why I asked that question is what I'm seeing. I am not always the safest person in the room. And this is something that I'm working on. Again, listen, I'm not doing these exercises and tools and I'm sitting up here talking to you, acting like I got it all figured out. I don't. But I am talking and I am working. I am communicating, working on myself to get better, because what I've learned, what I've been seeing lately is that when my stress levels are very high, I tend to forget the things that I've learned to do under high levels of stress when the stress level is too elevated. So what I see for myself is that I revert back to, when the stress levels are too high, I revert back to what I know. I revert back to what I've practiced the most. I revert back to what I'm used to doing. So again, if you're like me, this is exactly why I do these exercises. This is why I work on myself. This is why I open up the door to my dark side and my shadows, and I work on these things. And I've been working on how I deal with high levels of stress. And I would say that I used to be, if I could scale things on how I react under high levels of stress from 1 to 10, 1 being totally not aggravated and 10 being super aggravated and angry and, burst out and all that stuff. I think I never went above 7. Now, what this is about for me, I'm doing these exercises, using these tools so that I can reset my baseline towards a lower number. So what I want to be, what I'm aspiring to be is the kind of person that, I don't want to be, without reaction. I don't want to be without emotion. I still want to have that. Still want to be able to use my emotions when I want to, when I need to, but I don't want to be so high up there in the numbers that I feel like I have no control. So I feel like I've reset my baseline where my maximum was probably a 7 to a 5. So now what I still see is sometimes I revert back to that 7. So I want my baseline to be a 5, somewhere there. That's what I'm trying to be. Again, I'm doing these exercises so I learn to do this often. Repeat, and every single rep will reshape and reframe who I am and how I react under high levels of stress. So I will highly recommend that you do these exercises as well, because it's been really good for me. And I believe it will be good for you as well. So let me ask you this question. So I've been doing these exercises for a while now, for months in a row. What I want to ask you is, what keeps you safe? What makes you feel safe? Because yesterday I asked about, are you the safest person in the room? Which is a very hard question. And now I want to know, what keeps you safe? What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel grounded? What gets you back down to the baseline? What takes all of the emotions out when you're very stressed out? What gets you back to earth? I would say, what gets you back to normal? What gets you back to your normal way of being? What gets you back to a good place? Please let me know in the comment section below. And again, I highly recommend you go and try to do these exercises. I'm doing this work and I'm doing this with truth and courage. If you want to try this out, I highly recommend that you open up your heart, open up. Because if you don't want to open up to see who you really are, what you really are, then you cannot improve yourself. This is the Empowered Living Club, and that's what we do here. We do it with truth and courage. I did this, and I'm still doing this, so you can do this too. My name is Chris Kasonga. Keep living an empowered life.